help me. Life is just a dream. You promised me, Oswald.
I know, man.
I deserve a better life.
I'm working on it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I am Reuben. Fuck. That slipped up. I wasn't going to do it. Formerly known as Beau Oliver, joined here today with Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, and we are back to review The Penguin, episodes 3 and 4. We reviewed the first 2 episodes last week, so if you didn't watch that, go ahead and check it out, and then join us for our review of episodes 3 and 4. Spoilers, too, so make sure you watch the show. And before we get into that, I want to let you guys know that you can listen to this wherever you get your podcasts, not just on YouTube, all the podcasting platforms. And go ahead and check out our Patreon if you want a few extra podcasts a month. $2 gets you 3, finally got that correct, and $5 gets you 5 extra podcasts a month. Some solo pods, some group pods, and we get to talk about other things that are on our mind, not just movies, but sports. So there you go. Aaron, how are you doing today on this fine Wednesday, October? Been a good October so far, weather-wise. It's getting a little chilly, though.
Yeah, I hate waking up in the morning and it being cold.
Okay, I thought you were just going to end the sentence. You hate waking up in the morning.
I could have, but I mean, it being cold makes it so much worse. Yeah, but other than that, can't complain. I've got some ideas. Well, I got like 3 ideas that I want to pursue, but I don't know how to do it. Am I too old to become a pilot, you think?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know how I would go about it, but I feel like I was born to be a pilot.
Go to piloting school. I'm pretty sure it's like a 12-month, 18-month program.
Ugh.
They make good money, too.
Thought I could kind of just take like an online test or something. I feel like I was born to be a pilot or like a middle reliever who only goes in when it's like you're up a lot or down a lot. I just eat innings, you know? And
you're so important on the bench just in terms of building team camaraderie.
Big locker room guy, you know, just keep everybody in check, but also, you know, goof around with the boys in the dugout. I'm going to pursue one of those. Or I could just fake it like Leonardo DiCaprio and Catch Me If You Can.
I don't know if you have that type of aura. I don't know if you could be a con man.
No, I would fold them. There's like instantly.
Yeah, that's tough. Abagnale was moving different.
And I've also realized like I've always wanted to, like, I guess I could still do this too. I want to steal a safe, but like I don't know how to open it.
I still have nightmares about forgetting my locker combination for high school.
Dude, I don't know if you gave me a lock right now, I don't know if I would remember how to open it. Like, is it like 3 to the left, then you go back 1, then back 1?
You don't remember, you get the security. The security's like, oh my God, you again? Well, write it down. You can't write it down on a piece of paper? Oh no,
I
have got my backpack. Oh,
disgusting things in my locker.
All right, enough nostalgia for this cold opening. Let's get to the show. The Penguin, episodes 3 and 4, really good. I thought that they were, episodes 1 and 2 were really strong start to the season. And then 3 and 4 kind of deal with the same themes of tragedy and rebirth for 2 of our supporting characters, Victor and Sophia. I think Sophia so far has been the standout. So I appreciated the fact that they put more focus on Vic in episode 3, seeing the flashbacks of what happened to his family, then going to the modern day. Him and Oz having this opportunity to run away with his girlfriend, and the whole episode grappling with, is he going to stay or is he going to leave? Which path is he going to take? A similar choice is given to Sophia in episode 4, where we see the flashbacks. We get the answers as to why everybody is so afraid of her and how she was imprisoned. She was framed by her father. Then she's given this opportunity to flee to Sicily in order to escape the wrath of her uncle Luca and the remaining mobsters running the Falcone family. And once again, seeing which path is she going to take made for a fascinating episode of television. I think episode 4 is probably the strongest of the season so far, but 3 and 4 back to back, you really can't beat it.
No, I think it's all been really good so far. I don't really know if any of them stand out from like apart from the other episodes, but I think that it's all just been really good, and I'm enjoying watching the show. Unlike, we'll talk about it, I guess, tomorrow with the Rings of Power, just a show that I just don't enjoy watching anymore.
Yeah, that show, I don't know. The first 3 episodes of season 2, good time though.
Like, wasn't it like it was okay?
Yeah.
there's like an anticipation, like where I'm actually looking forward to each episode. And I think taking a step back from the Penguin, these last two episodes, I think focusing on Vic and Sophia, building their characters up, I think it's a smart move to do heading towards the second half of the season. You're kind of really building your characters up to where, we talked about it with Sophia, the kind of mystery around her past and what she did. Why is she the hangman? Why is everyone seem to avoid her like the plague when she comes walking around? Meanwhile, everybody else in the room is like hardened criminals as well. But I think, and we've talked about it in the past, just the scariest situation you could imagine yourself in is everyone telling you you're crazy and you can't do anything about it, because the more you claim that you're not crazy, the crazier you look. That just continues to be like the most haunting thing that's portrayed in TVs and movies for me. It's just a no-win situation. But seeing her backstory, what her family and pretty much everybody besides her brother did to her, is really heartbreaking. And it gives you a different perspective on characters like her brother. Like when we first met Al, I was kind of happy the Penguin fucking shot him, because he was just a dick, and he just seems like he was one of these kind of privileged characters that just had no concepts of the real world. But when you take a step back and look at his relationship with his sister, it really does bring more humanity to that character, especially his disdain for Penguin, for basically being the catalyst of this situation and being the first domino to fall that led Sophia to have to go through all of this. So it really gives you new light on past events and a different perspective moving forward.
Yeah, no, it really does. And that's a great point, because you could go back and watch that first episode and the conversation between them with this added knowledge, knowing Al was actually trying to get his sister out, that he always believed in her, that he loved her. It adds so much to his character now. And Penguin's betrayal goes even deeper, because it's not only that he ratted out Sophia to her father, that she was talking to the journalist, but now she killed the one person other than her therapist, her doctor, that was actually trying to help her. So it just adds so many new layers now to the rivalry that's brewing between Sophia and Penguin. And I had a really fun time with them in episode 3 when they're out and about trying to convince the Triad to work with them, blackmailing Vitti. By the end of it, Penguin's all smiles, and that's one of the big giveaways to Sophia. Is she says that you're enjoying this way more than I am, and he has to kind of calm himself down a bit. He's like, oh, what, who wouldn't want to, betray the people that have always been mean to me? But this is all for you, so don't forget that. And then once again, they don't shy away from the ugliness of that character, as likable as he is. I saw a funny tweet. It was somebody saying that they were going to start a fight in the Iceberg Lounge in front of Penguin, so he'll be impressed and put him in their crew. Because you just want to be friends with him, Obviously, it's not a great life as a criminal, but if anybody's going to be your mentor, I would want it to be the Penguin. But when you get that shot of Sophia looking up at him as he's trying to talk his way out of this situation with Maroni's wife, and you just see him blubbering and the spit, and he's so ugly in that moment, not only just physically, but inherently, because he's willing to say and do anything at any moment. They don't shy away from that ugliness.
Yeah, but he is, like, I still like Penguin. And it is such a testament to the writing and the performance that, like, usually a character like this, like a sniveling backstabber, he'd be the most despised character on television right now. But there's just a charm to him. And even with how he treats Vic, like, sometimes he's a bit hard on him, but you can see that it kind of comes from a place of, like, he really thinks he's helping him and he wants to help. I think when you kind of go through all the layers of Penguin so far, it is a very flawed character, but one that is still endearing. And a lot of his negative traits almost become like part of that in a way. Because when you just see him, like you said, when he is getting those schemes with that smile on his face, like you're rooting for him,
Oh, yeah.
So it's fun the way they've written this character so far and how they've explored it, because on paper he should be the most hated character in the show, but he's just not.
Right. Even when the scene when he's sitting down with Vic in episode 3 and Vic's telling him about his family and what his father did for a living and how it never led to a life of luxury or comfort, that it was a constant hustle. And Penguin empathizes with that and relates to that as well, because he sees a lot of Vic He sees a lot of himself in Vic, and it's situationally, it's the circumstances. And he gives him the advice of the world's a fucked up place. And instead of saying, that's why it's up to us to be better men to make the world a bit more honest, the message is fuck the world. That's the only way to operate. That's the only way to win. So I think Vic's decision there at the end to not run away with his girlfriend and return to the Penguin is something of a middle finger to the world. But they also wrote it, especially from Vic's perspective, as I'm under this guy's thumb. It's not so much that I want to be with him, but at this point I have no choice. I made a mistake. I owe him. If I turn my back on him, he could kill me. But then the Penguin does give him the go-ahead to leave, to have this new life. And once again, that's why you like the Penguin. It's not only the way that Farrell is playing it, but you had mentioned it's also the writing. Moments like that go a long way. So he's giving agency to Vic, and Vic decides to bail him out, which was just a great moment, too, to end episode 3. And I love when shows do that, where they have a deadly confrontation, and then the next episode, they're not going to really resolve it because it's going to be full of flashbacks. So they're making us wait until episode 5 to see the aftermath of that. And I think also throughout the episode, it was a little bit of Vic lying to himself. This idea that Penguin's violent and I owe him, so I have no choice. I have to stay. But deep down, he always wanted to stay. Yeah, that's a decision. I think Penguin, what does he say to Vic? That you're in it now? There's no turning back after you pull a stunt like that.
Yeah, and I do enjoy his scheming because it all goes well until it doesn't. It's like I feel like he hasn't really, as much as he's pulled off, nothing has worked so far, but he still finds his way out of it and kind of slowly rising up.
That was the luckiest he's probably gotten, the end of episode 3, because he's been good at adapting. You mentioned Rings of Power. It reminds me of when Galadriel's like to Sauron, you've planned this since the beginning. And he's like, you're giving me way too much credit. I'm kind of just making this up as I go. That's what the Penguin's been doing up until now. That was a bailout by Vic there, especially for Vic to have the balls to pull off a move like that. Reminded me a bit of Breaking Bad. Walt saves Jesse, and then they're stuck with each other for the rest of the show, essentially. This one, it's the protege saving the mentor. And of course, you feel bad for the girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of I don't know, when she texts him a few times.
Yeah, she didn't seem too sad.
I was expecting her to blow his phone up, nonstop. Hey, I'm here. Are you coming? ? You haven't answered me. He should be getting fucking phone blown off the hook at that point. I do like their relationship and how he's, this idea of what it is to make it, especially in this post-flood Gotham world where it's always been tough, but now more than ever, just taking a chance. And I think it is something where in future episodes after this event where he just killed somebody and basically their position of power is removed now that Sophia knows that he was working with the Maronis. So they're kind of going to be on their own being hunted. So we'll see if his perception of this kind of life changes throughout the next few weeks. I imagine it will, but maybe he's an adapter. Maybe he does take the advice of Penguin and finds a way to get out unscathed or on top.
Yeah, I just realized that because with the end of episode 4, with Sophia apparently taking full control over the Falcone family, she's got all those resources now. She's going to be going after Penguin. So I don't know what the play is going to be here. But what's really fun is that I don't think they're taking direct inspiration from this, or maybe they are. But when you read about how John Gotti became the head of that family, a lot of it is just being ruthless and getting lucky. When you look at the path from where he was to where he ended, you're like, man, a lot of things just had to go your way. So I like how the show is playing with that too, that it's not all about, I'm the mastermind, I can just outwit everybody, but no, you need to have a couple of lucky breaks. But yeah, I thought Vic, the actor who played Vic in that episode 3, that's the best that he's been so far. And I mentioned this on our earlier review that I was waiting for the breakout of that character because even though I thought he was a fun idea to give Penguin his own little sidekick, I wanted to know more about that character, and I was waiting for him to develop and begin to flourish in this role. And we saw that with episode 3 without a doubt. And then episode 4, I mean, everything Sophia went through in that episode from the very beginning of being set up as the successor to your father, and then him realizing that you've put together the pieces of all these women that he's been killing, going in the institution, seeing Arkham at its darkest, at its most brutal, and then coming out and having to essentially make this choice between fleeing to safety, starting a new life, or fighting, risking your life to take back what was stolen from you. And it's such a satisfying moment for the character, being able to confront all those people who wronged her, friends and family. It's the worst type of betrayal, and everybody was wondering why is, we knew they were scared when she would walk into a room because of this reputation she has as the hangman. But in reality, it was because in the back of their minds, they knew what they had done to her. And the willpower of that character to experience that over 10 years, there is a breaking point where she does snap and violently kills her cellmate. But to still be standing after 10 years of experiencing that physical and psychological torture and still being able to maintain parts of your humanity, it's nothing if not admirable. So even though she's making this choice that is objectively an immoral one, wanting to become the new kingpin of Gotham and killing all these people, as the audience, you have no choice but to be on her side, just because of what she was able to withstand. As I just said, it's admirable at the very least, and that's why it's a genius move by the writers, building up this sympathy for someone who essentially wants to become a supervillain. Incredible casting choice for Kristen Milioti, because even though her character wasn't a crazy serial killer, you were convinced that she was capable of that, just based on the way that she was playing the character in these moments. And I think you mentioned it on the last review that she says so much with her eyes that she doesn't actually say with the dialogue. And now we see why there's so much pain and so much tension and anger behind those eyes because of what she went through. And I thought the performance from beginning to end was just incredible.
She's been fantastic as that character. And like you said, like Gotham's mental health systems are pretty outdated. But yeah, seeing her thrust into that situation, it does tell you a lot about that character and where she is like mentally now, especially what they say 10 years. And you see her in the past episodes have kind of these moments where she wasn't crazy before, but going through that now, it does fuck with you and it does change you as a person.
Without a doubt. And they related it back to the Batman's final monologue at the end of the movie when he talks about how your scars can destroy you even after the wounds healed, but if you survive them, they can give you power to endure and the strength to fight. So that's what's happening here with Sophia. And it's classic Batman, where a character is beaten down at the lowest of their lows, and they have this shot at not redemption, but of rebirth and transformation. And with Sophia's situation, it's not quite going down the path of being a more hopeful superhero like with Batman, but I think we can all understand it based on what her father and her family put her through. Fucking prick. That guy is really just an evil bastard.
Were you upset a little bit when no John Turturro?
Yeah, I was. And I think that's just a case of Mark Strong being a really good actor, but Turturro being the perfect casting, because his laid back, raspy Don in the Batman was so memorable. And apparently it was just a scheduling conflict. But yeah, it would have been cool to see Turturro come back as that character. Because as I said, he's very inviting in the way that he carries himself in the Batman. So you feel almost comfortable around him. But when he makes that turn and he exposes how ugly and ruthless he can actually be, especially just on a personal level, that he's able to willing to strangle somebody, a loved one. But Mark Strong is, like I said, he's a really good actor. So
interesting, like choices though. Like when you think of Mob Don, I don't think those are the two ones that jump off the page when you're going through potential castings, but they've worked out.
Yeah. Strong is I kind of like how he didn't try to do a Turturro impersonation. He kind of just made the character his own, and he's obviously not in many scenes, but he brought a new vibe to it, a bit more almost more business-like in his approach.
So was he just killing people for fun?
Yeah, I mean, because they say he did the same thing to Catwoman's mom.
Yeah,
because Selena Kyle says she found her mom with fingerprints around her neck. He did the same thing to Sophia and Al's mom, and apparently he's just been doing it to probably mistresses or women he's got certain relationships with.
Weird fella.
When she's putting together the pieces, and he's like, "Why would you upset me, Sophia? I don't like talking about the past." Oh, sorry, Dad. I definitely don't think you had anything to do with it. I was just wondering, just thinking aloud. I'm still next in line for the job, right? The top job. Fucking pulled a Logan Roy. It was worse than Logan and got her institutionalized. And Arkham. I guess
Yeah.
we've seen Arkham a few times, but because this show has done such a good job with grounding their world in our reality, that was, as terrifying, I think, as Arkham has ever been. Especially with the side characters like Magpie kind of playing a bit of a Harley Quinn role. And then the character of Abby was terrifying. The woman who confronts Sophia as soon as she gets there. That whole sequence was something straight out of a horror flick. That was the scariest character of the show so far. Those were some crazy fucking eyes.
Yeah, and a couple of brutal scenes. I mean, her stabbing herself in the fork, and then when Sophia just finally loses it and kills Magpie.
Yeah, that's where she finally breaks down. And do you believe that I'm not crazy now?
Nope.
I was waiting for I didn't think she was going to kill Magpie, but I was waiting for her to spaz out on her. Like, can you just shut up? You're so annoying. But that first shot, when you see Magpie through the hole in the wall, that was also terrifying. A lot of good shots in this episode 4. So far, the first 3 episodes were directed by Craig Zobel, but this one was directed by Helen Shaver. I thought she did a really good job. And once again, just fitting the tone of the Batman universe that was established in that first movie. It's been seamless. They've done a seamless job of there's nothing in your mind that's making you think there's a difference between this show and what we got in the movie. And I think also the way that they've incorporated flashbacks, like when she wakes up following the ending of episode 3 and she's at the therapist's house, Julian Rush, which once again, Theo Rossi, another great actor in this cast, and he's become one of my favorites over the years. He's a guy that has a face that says he's evil, but then when he's soft and sympathetic towards people, you're like, oh man, he's not that mean, even though his face is mean. He's got a great look to him, and I thought that their relationship was fascinating to watch as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely, I think, doing his best to try to help, but we kind of seen, like, especially in the beginning stages, even though he left, he kind of left her out to dry, and then trying to, I guess, make up for that. Now, it creates an interesting dynamic, but they seem to, I don't know, it seems like just like a weird chemistry between them, obviously, but it is somebody, I mean, she called when she was in trouble, so maybe the only person that she really trusts at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a really fucked up dynamic, because he even admits it. I'm doing this because I don't want to feel guilty anymore. And that's always a very tough position to be in, when on one hand you think that you're actually doing your job, but your gut's telling you this is wrong. And it's like the politician who resigns. I can no longer participate in this horrible thing I've been participating in. We're 75% done, but I will not stand here to watch the final quarter of it happen. Like, are you doing anything to stop it? No, but I'm no longer participating in it. So yeah, that scene ends up being very tense between them.
It was funny in the flashback. I guess it's like 10 plus years ago, and the Penguin just the same. Just a kid.
Oh, he's just a 37-year-old kid. I like that the Penguins just looked, we talked about that a few weeks ago, that there are some people who just always look 48.
Yeah.
He's just been 48 for 30 years.
Yeah, it's a power fucking move, huh? Just wiping out everybody. I like that Vidi's around, though. I would have missed him.
Oh, dude, Michael Kelly. I don't think there's an actor alive who's able to become more unlikable in a role than Michael Kelly. I just can't stand him. Just how tense he was at dinner. But that's a genius idea, right? You keep him alive because he's the most competent. You can't kill everybody. Somebody's still got to give the orders and pull the strings and figure out the logistics of stuff.
Well, he's so good at just being dead inside.
Yeah, he's one cold motherfucker.
Like, even House of Cards, like, just that his presence, his lack of emotion is
one sick fuck
scarier
character
than Frank Underwood at times.
I know.
Because
who's scarier than Frank Underwood is the guy who's just completely loyal to him.
Yeah, just doing all of his dirty work without a hesitation.
It's literally what he lived for. No, I love that, man. I love a team of rivals. So, like I said, Sophia now being able to pull the strings as the head of the family, but keeping him alive because he's very competent. And if you want to take out someone like the Penguin, obviously the Penguin doesn't have as many resources or allies, but he's the main character in the show. So it's going to be difficult.
But yeah, it was a tough scene when she's, when you realize what she's done after camping out with her cousin's daughter and kind of like, what's going on here? And then when you put the gas mask on and walk through and just see all the bodies lying there, it is such
classic
a fucking
move.
Yeah, But it is one of those moments that make you fucking just respect, like, Cersei taking out everybody. Just one of those fucking cold ass moments where you're like, fuck all these people. I'm not going to let them dictate what happens to me. Me personally, the vindictive guy I am, I kind of would have wanted them to know it was me, you know?
Yeah, I know.
'Cause they just fell asleep and didn't wake up, you know? They're never going to know. They just got fucking bodied by Sophia Falcone.
She's a badass, man. When she showed up to that dinner in that yellow dress, had me feeling some type of way. It's not I can fix her, it's I don't want to fix her.
Yeah, dude. I just have to say the same thing. Like, keep doing what you're doing, babe.
No, yeah, you're golden. Let me help you out.
I got you. Yeah, you're doing great. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yellow's a great color on you, babe. Yeah, no, she's just bringing this character to another level. And this feels like I always make fun of people who are like, this was the Emmy episode. But if anybody's going to win an Emmy, I think for these first 4 episodes, she's got the best shot in episode 4. And it just sets up the rest of the season in a way where everything inside of you is telling you to root for Sophia. And they've built up all this sympathy for her throughout the season. Now with episode 4, confirming that she wasn't crazy. And I thought it was funny that they made your point at the dinner, like, why is everybody so afraid of me? Milos over here has killed like 20 people.
Oh!
They've set you up to like this character. And this isn't a spoiler because, nobody's seen these final episodes, but it feels like they're setting her up to lose to the Penguin, who just continues to become even more despicable and unforgiving, which to me is just a genius way to set up this season. Because it's not just bad guy going up against other bad guys, but it's one bad guy who has no good reason for doing what he's doing other than he can and he wants to. And the world sucks, so why not? Versus a bad guy who has plenty of good reason for doing what she's doing. Even though it is immoral, you can totally understand why she would take this fight to her family because of how she's been wronged. So it makes it more fun for the audience. Because if we end this show just absolutely despising the Penguin for what he does in order to win as the underdog against Sophia, and then you go into the Batman 2 with him being the main villain, that's some genius shit right there.
Well, yeah, it's like he's either gonna die and we end up liking him for some reason, or he's gonna win and we're gonna hate him because he killed Sophia or something, or killed Vic or something like that. So, yeah, if he makes it out of the season, then it's going to be in a way that audiences are probably going to despise him. But still, like, a character you enjoy hating. You might not like him or upset about some of the things you do, but you still like watching the character.
Yeah, and I think that's, part of the point of the show is to demonstrate how people become villains. He was a villain in the Batman, but he wasn't the guy. So this is like the making of a supervillain. And I think that is going to be the ultimate point at the end of this show, is that you can't get to where Penguin wants to be without losing your soul and most of your humanity. So even the idea of him betraying Vic, because we've seen that he betrayed Sophia not once but twice, and it seems like there's no personal hard feelings between him and Sophia, at least from the Penguin's side of things. So with Vic, if it comes down to it, it's either save Vic's life or have this opportunity to become Gotham's kingpin. I think we know how he's going to choose. Or maybe, we're not giving him the benefit of the doubt there. So, like you said, it's either we're going to really admire him or absolutely despise him.
Yeah. I mean, you can, like you mentioned Breaking Bad before, like, ultimately, with his relationship with Vic, is he going to corrupt him and make him, take this innocent child from the beginning to this hardened criminal, or is there going to be some pushback where ultimately that causes a disconnect? And we've seen that once that breaking point happens in Breaking Bad, then it clearly divides who the audience should be rooting for between Walt and Jesse. I feel like they could take a similar route in here where it just all becomes too much, but it comes to a point where they're no longer going to be the duo that they are now.
I don't know if this is anything, or maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly, but I can't remember Vic stuttering when he was talking to Sophia. And it seems like that's the first time he's had a conversation, other than with Oz, but that he hasn't stuttered in front of somebody else.
It comes and goes.
Yeah, it does come and go. But usually, even when he meets somebody new, he'll stutter in the beginning. as the conversation goes on. But that entire conversation with Sophia, he didn't. So I was wondering if they were trying to show us that he's naturally very comfortable around her, and that if they're setting up like a Vic betrayal where he goes for Sophia instead of the Penguin.
And Oz yells at the waiter. That was funny.
Oh yeah.
Steak fried.
Hey, don't do that. The man was speaking. Let him finish.
He is such an Italian uncle.
Oh yeah, he definitely thinks Jordan couldn't play in the 80s.
Oh, you mean
LeBron?
Yeah.
He hates when starting pitchers get pulled after 5 innings. Pitch count back in my day, they'll go into your arm, fucking falls off.
I like how he speaks Spanish, though. They brought that back from the movie when he's correcting the Riddler Spanish. No, he actually fucking knows Spanish. Don't sleep on Oz.
He's got some culture to him.
The walk has really actually grown on me. I love the walk now.
Yeah, what's not to like about it?
At first, I thought it was just like, oh, he's a penguin. But now I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking penguin, boy.
It would be funny if like little, like they never mention it, but just little hints of him being a penguin throughout the season. Like just eating raw fish. It was like he's sliding on a slippery surface on his belly. It's like, oh, that's why they call him the penguin.
Surfing. Remember that when the penguin wanted to surf? Surfs up.
Surfs up.
Yeah.
Well, this is so funny looking back at Tim Burton's just being like, oh yeah, I'll just make him a penguin.
Yeah, no, he's like a penguin creature. It's like a human penguin hybrid. That shit was funny.
He was running for mayor.
Yeah, and they stole the vote from him. That movie's incredible, man. I love Batman Returns. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. Ooh. Dude, do you think we see no, she went to Bloodhaven, so she probably won't be in it. I was wondering if we see Selena Kyle.
Where is Bloodhaven? Like middle?
It's supposed to be like Westchester.
Oh.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like upstate.
It's like a 20-minute ride.
Well, depending on, upstate's pretty big.
Depending on traffic, but like you leave at like 3 a.m., you'll be in Gotham by 5. At least, no, not even.
I wonder if they're doing the whole Our Gotham is also in New York thing.
No,
I would
it's
like
New Jersey. It says it on the license.
Oh, it does? Oh, cool.
It makes sense that Gotham's New Jersey.
Yeah, I fuck with that.
We'll give them something. This dirty, crime-ridden city.
You know that motherfuckers from Gotham claim that they're from New York.
Yeah, they've been wearing interlocking NY hats.
Anything else you want to touch on for these 2 episodes? Like I said, overall, I've really enjoyed this show so far, and I can't wait for episode 5.
Well, I just can't wait to see how he like slimes his way out of this, because he can always just be like, I was playing both sides, but I was with you the whole time. To like both of them. You just can't trust him. And Sophia, you could tell in her eyes that she doesn't, but she has to at certain points, and it kind of comes back to bite her. But I think after this point, like, there's no like going back.
Him straight up trying to cut the Maronis out. This is in broad daylight. He's like setting up all this distribution. He's like, yo, the Maronis, me and you, we'll do it. And he's like, no, the triads. He really is just fucking spitballing. It's amazing. That is the most anticipated thing about episode 5 and just moving forward is what cards does he have left to play? And we will see. All right, guys, that does it for this review of The Penguin, episodes 3 and 4 of season 1. We will be back probably in a few weeks to talk about episodes 5 and 6. We'll take a week break just so we have more to talk about on these reviews. Aaron, thanks as always for joining me. Quick thoughts. What do you think of the first look of Crypto in the Superman movie?
Oh, there's Crypto?
You didn't see that? James Gunn tweeted out Superman and Crypto. Crypto is going to be in the Superman movie.
Yep. I expected this. I typed in Crypto on Twitter and...
Oh, yeah. No, Crypto with a K.
Bitcoin crash just started. Ooh, that's interesting. Bitcoin just broke 60. What is it? Did it crash or did it...
Bitcoin is simultaneously always failing and going to the moon. It's kind of like my life.
Yeah, these guys might be onto something. I'm going to start investing.